Collaborating with Google Documents. There are so many things that we can do with Google Documents, and I can rant and rave like I have been in this entire module, because you just found about Google Calendar, and next you're going to be finding about Google Sites. But like Google Calendar, you can collaborate and you can share in Google Documents, and that's why it's so exciting. Let's take a look. This is one of my favorite examples. This was created at the TCEA conference in 2010. And what this was is this was to brainstorm what are your favorite iPhone, iTouch apps for education. So one person went ahead and made this spreadsheet in Google Docs, and then promptly shared it out with not only everybody at the conference, but everybody that was on Twitter. And so this came across, and I'm like, oh, look at all this. But if you look in the upper right-hand corner, it's in the blue box up there, it says anonymous user 1,620, and one other person was on when I took this screenshot. It's much higher than that right now because I'm looking in the bottom right-hand corner, and it is 1,634 that have been on here. But this is the best that we know from 1,600 people that have been on this document. So if you need iPhone, iTouch apps, this is where you want to go. So very exciting ability to collaborate. So it's not only that you get to create. Wait. I forgot to tell you. It's free. It's free. Yes, it's free. And you can go ahead and create documents. And I'm going to walk you through how to do it and everything. Okay, here is what my Google Docs looks like. This is kind of my, it should be more organized, I know. But this is kind of like when you open up my documents on your regular computer and you see your Word docs and things like that. These are all my Google Docs, and I do have some organization going on here in the left side where you have those folders. And what I like about this is I can color code my folders. Now this is similar to iTunes in the fact that all the documents sit in your library, and then they stay in the library, the middle part, and then you can drag them over to your folder. So actually documents could live, if you want to think of it that way, in two different folders, but everything stays in the library. So we'll go through kind of how to do this and so on, but to go ahead and get started, the whole magic, just like in Google Calendar, is to have a Gmail account. Go ahead and make a Gmail account, create a username and a password. The hardest part is you might not get your Sue Smith because there's millions of people that beat you here. Make your account. They're going to verify your account through email, and then you can go in and get started with all these great things. Now, the one thing is, if you are doing professional development and there are more than about 15 people in the room that are all trying to make Gmail accounts at one time, Google's going to think you're all spam. And so it's not going to let you all in. It seems like the magic number is about 15. So if you want to get everybody to do this during professional development, I strongly suggest you send out an email and you tell everybody to make a Gmail account before they come to the session. That really makes a big difference. All right. And once you sign back into, then what you do, let me see if I can go back and show you. If you look across the top, first thing you do to get into your Gmail account is look right across the top, is go to Google, and in the upper right-hand corner, it's going to say sign in. Maybe you never noticed it, but it does. Say sign in, and then you're going to sign in with your Gmail account. You can see mine is meg@gmail.com if you need to send me a little love note. Just kidding, but you're welcome to. And so you sign in, and once you sign in, then you're going to see right across the top, you're going to see some options. If Documents or Calendar or Gmail is not an option, look in the left corner where it says More. That it'll be listed under there, and sometimes I even have to go to Even More, but they're all underneath More. So if you're not seeing what you want, go to More. And they kind of move around depending on what you use. Okay, so you've signed in, you've made an account, you've gone to Google, and you've logged in. Now, let's talk about what you can do in Google Docs. Okay, now, did I mention again it's free? So for free, you can create documents, you can create a presentation like a slideshow, a spreadsheet. My favorite of the whole thing is Google Forms, and I'll go into why that's my favorite. Drawing, I have not mastered yet because I don't have my tablet engaged to my computer, and so drawing with my mouse, I'm really not good at. And when I showed you originally the folder where I had them color coded, that's how you make the folder right there. And then from template, I'll cover as we go through. There's templates that are available that are beautiful, done, everything from lesson plan templates to home budgets, you name it, they're done. This, I'm going to start with my least favorite because I haven't mastered it yet. I just haven't spent enough time here. This is drawing. And some of you will look and say, that looks like some other software that I've used. Well, yes, but it's free and it's all here. And the whole thing, let's just go back a couple slides. The whole thing is this. This is the whole exciting piece about Google Docs, is the collaboration piece. So we can create a drawing and then we can collaborate on it. So I don't know if there's a limit to how many people can collaborate at one time, but think that's the sense of this. I believe this was created by one of my son's teachers for them to talk about one of their books. And then she just shared it, and I'll talk more about sharing. Okay, now I have to put a plug in. I sit on the board for SET Connections, which the SET stands for Special Ed and Technology, and I love working with this group because everything is done through Google Docs. We rarely send email. I think we sent maybe a holiday email, but that was really it. Everything else is right here. So I travel a lot and I'm not always attending meetings. It's okay. Our board is scattered all over. And so what we do is I can always see exactly what's happening. And we're getting ready for our conference, our SET 2011 conference. And so I can see, all right, what's going on? I know I can't attend the meeting on this date, but I can see exactly where everything is and what's going on. Because I think I can make the January meeting. So I can say, all right. And then when we get close to the January meeting, they will put the agenda right up there. So everything we do is done through Google Docs. If I do go to a face-to-face meeting, what I have, we just call this up and we all kind of go through it, we add, but at any point, because this is shared with me, I didn't make it, Judy did, but she shared it with me, I can go ahead and make comments or add or do whatever I need. So SET Connections, love you to join us. Great group. Okay, now, when you use Google Docs, you also can save things back into different formats. So you can upload things from one format that you already have it in, and you can also download them. So that same spreadsheet that we were looking at, for some reason, if I needed to take it over to Excel, I could, or OpenOffice, or a PDF right from here, which really is great. The other thing you can do is you can embed this right on a website. If you have a Google site, website, which I'm covering next, Google site, it's so quick and easy. You can go ahead and have everything right there. Okay, now this is a conference that I spoke at, and I want you to look up onto the upper left-hand corner. See where it says Google Docs, then it says Meg Ormiston EMTA Flyer DocX. Now, the new version of Microsoft Office and makes everything a DocX. And if people don't save it in the old format, you get it. If you don't have the new version of Office, you can't open it. Well, don't panic because I can bring it right into Google Docs and it will open the DocX if I don't have it. So that's what this is. So this is the word processing. This is what it looks like. Let's look over to the right. The details are I own it. I uploaded it on July 30th. This is the version, and then that download button would be able to tell me what I could download it into a different version. So if I wanted to download it back to a DOC, a Microsoft DOC, I could definitely do that right there. So that's the word processing. Now this is an example of what the presentation software looks like, but I wanted you to see the menu. So I pulled that up and screen caught that. Now here, if I have permission to edit, so let's say that you're assigning groups to go work on a project outside of class, one person can set up the document and then they can give permissions. Every single document in my list can have different permissions. And so let's go back to that very first spreadsheet. Everybody had the right to edit so that they could add information into that spreadsheet. So you have to have permission. And so the person that sets up the spreadsheet decides who has permission. So again, you can see download it as a PDF or a PowerPoint slide. You print it. Do you want to play it? Want to create a copy and save it to a different version, you could do that. And then speaker notes. So if you wanted to have students present in class, you could check their speaker notes and you could see that they completed that part of the assignment. All right, I told you there were templates. Here they are. Right from the first pull-down menu of what do you want to start with, here's where you get your templates from. And it grows every day. I haven't been in for a while, and I went back in. I'm like, oh, there's like hundreds more. Everything out, personal, professional, it's here. It's interesting as Google Docs is coming out across the world. You have a whole lot in different languages, but maybe you could get around that. So the template gallery is fantastic. Now, we're going to see some other templates in use. So our spreadsheet was just pretty basic. This was basic. I think that's just background color. But you can get very fancy, and they're all right here. Now, this is the file menu, and I wanted you to take a look at kind of the things you could do. First, make a new one, import. Import would be if you have it, say, already in a different format, you could just import it, and you can always rename or download or save it right in there. Oh, it auto-saves for you too, which is has saved me way more than one time, I'll tell you. Okay, oh, this is what I want to show you. See revision history. Do you see that right in the middle? A lot of people panic when I talk about Google Docs because they're like, what if somebody in the class came in and deleted everything? Well, guess what? If you shared it with your class, let's say you share that spreadsheet with your class or the drawing with your class, you would have students have usernames. And their usernames, you would see their usernames. So here's back to the spreadsheet. You can see I haven't been actively participating. On the right is the revision history. So you can see Judy's been very busy working on this. So she did a lot of work on December 6th, and you can scroll down. So let's say one of your lovies in your class deletes everything. Wouldn't that be funny? They think, oh, there's no homework if I delete everything. You would see right there that Lovey 1 deleted everything. And then you could just go back to before Lovey 1 did anything. So there's like always a track record, which is really nice because if you ask your students to come in and read and respond or work on that web that we had, you can see if they did it. You see right there if they've done it. Now, back to that original spreadsheet that had the 1,600 people, we're coming in as anonymous. I'm not quite sure why because I was logged into my Google accounts, but in your class you would see their usernames. Okay, getting to one of my very favorite things, and this is Google Forms. Okay, Google Forms. And what I love about Google Forms is the minute somebody hits submit on a form, it automatically populates into a spreadsheet, and I can get beautiful bar graphs right from there. Bar graphs, pie charts, whatever you want. So let's look on this. Look at the bottom, that black bar. You can see this spreadsheet on that crazy address. Well, we would never want we really would never want anyone to have to type that crazy address in. So you could copy that address and snail mail it. No, I'm kidding. Email it, put it on your website. Just get it to somebody somehow, and they click on it, and they can see the form that we're talking about. Now, here's one that a teacher made. I found it online, and this is about the Hobbit. So she's taken a little survey, test, assessment, pre-assessment, post-assessment about the Hobbit. Now, remember back to the whole thing I started. The great thing is the sharing part. She put that back online, so you don't have to make one for the Hobbit. If she shares it and gives you permission to edit, you can take her Hobbit and go, ooh, I don't like question 3, or there's a typo. You can then edit, because you'll have editing permissions. That's how most people will post them online. Here's one I made, and the questions were, I just wanted to know, I do this almost in every form, is give me your first name and your last initial. If not, you don't know who the form is coming from. So that's kind of a little hint for you. And then, what do you know? Twitter, I think I asked them to rate themselves 0 to 5, 5 being an expert, I know everything. And then when you look at the results, that's what you're getting there. Now, if you could see that we didn't have we had 1% of my group was, they knew a lot about Twitter, but you can see see immediately that we've got a lot of people that have heard of it maybe once, but I've got a lot of teaching to do if we're just specifically looking at Twitter. So as an instructor, it really helps me it's like my pre-test or my pre-assessment to get a sense. It's really interesting because then in my form, I ask things like Skype, number 2. And depending on where I am in the world, some people really use Skype and I can completely skip that segment, but they maybe never heard about Animoto or one of the other ones. So then I can take that chunk of time I would have had to spend on Skype and put it somewhere else. So this is really essential for me as an instructor. I always ask people if I can ahead of time, which really helps, to send them out that link before a session. Please complete the survey, but most of the time it's going to end up, right away. But then I use that data, and then it tells me exactly where I need to do my professional development. So the forms are fantastic. Now, you're looking at the beautiful fish, the blue water. I did nothing but go to template and pick a really pretty one. That's it. It's fantastic. They can change seasonally. I haven't figured out if you could customize it, which would be really cool. I'm sure there's a way. I think probably anything that's a JPEG can be made into this, but I haven't played with that yet. All right. Let's see. And here's what the results are going to look like. I get people's names. I know exactly. I look on the left. I got a timestamp. I know if they did this at 2 a.m, I would know. So you can go ahead and see that this is what the spreadsheet will look like that gets my data. The only thing that's a little confusing, and that's why I put the menu there for you. Under forms, sometimes you open up forms and you get a spreadsheet and you go, no, I want a form. Don't panic. They're married. They're tied together because you can't have a form without a spreadsheet. So if you look up under form, you open it up and it sees spreadsheet and you go, no, Meg said it was a form. It is a form. Go to live form, which you'll see right underneath there. And then you go back and it will look like that beautiful thing that you created. And so don't panic but they're hooked together, okay? And if you want to see your summary, again, show summary of responses in that same pull-down menu. So anything tied to form is in that menu. Okay, upload files. I've mentioned this a couple times. You can upload from anything, do some converting, mark it private, do whatever you want right there, right in Google Docs. All right, so just remember, everything is going to stay in your main menu, your library. But then to get organized, you're going to be dragging things over to your folders on the left. So why do I love Google Docs? Let's summarize. Free. It's in the cloud. And we've covered this a couple times, but I'll hit it again. It's in the cloud, meaning anywhere I can get to the internet, I can get to my documents. Now, it doesn't look fantastic on my phone yet, but I can get to them if I need them. So I don't have to worry that my stuff is on my H drive at school or on my home computer or my flash drive the dog just ate. Doesn't matter. If I can get to the internet and remember my password and my login, I can get to my documents. So I love that. The other thing too is the sharing and the collaboration. Since I have started using Google Docs, my email has gone way, way down because that's that connections that we don't do anything in email. Everything is done here. So there's no attachment here. What's the latest copy? What's the latest? Everything is contained into one place, which really makes a huge difference. In my life and probably in yours too. So as you can see, I'm a little passionate about collaborating with Google Documents. I think that it's just amazing. And some of the districts that I work with are estimating, because they don't have to buy additional productivity software, they're estimating they're going to save millions of dollars over the next couple of years. They're not only saving on not purchasing productivity software, but they also don't have to store student documents, teacher documents. That's all floating out there in the cloud. Now, am I worried about security? I'm worried about security if you don't protect your password. If you're one of those people that tape your password to your computer, it's probably not a good place to go for you. If you're using your dog's name and every student in your class knows your dog's name, again, probably not good if you're going to use this. The other thing too, as I caution, is don't use confidential information when you're floating in the cloud. You want to keep that confidential. But other than that, let's collaborate using Google Docs.